Hello, my dear friends and railway lover friends. In continuation to my earlier narration about birth of Indian Railways, again on date, am now present before you, dear friends, to share about brief history of Indian Railways. First of all, on date, I would like to quote Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore's beautiful quotation I love to share. There the mind is without fear. There the mind is without fear, and the head is held high. Where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. So, on date, I love to share a railway reborn. Yesterday, I narrated on the basis of informations so gathered during my service tenure period in the Indian Railways. I gathered the history related to Indian Railways, so I love to share among all of you, dear friends, regarding Indian Railways. A railway today, exclusively the subject is a railway reborn after the government of India took over the management of East Indian Railway in the year 1925. It, along with GIP Railway, were first to be organized into divisions. Initially, there were 6 divisions in East Indian Railway. Number 1, Howrah. Number 2, Asansol. And number 3, Danapur division. Initially, I was appointed in the Danapur division, known as the lower divisions, and Allahabad, Lucknow, and Muradabad known as the upper divisions. So, initially there were 6 divisions. Gradually, the railway systems all over India started getting reorganized. The reconstitution and regrouping of 42 railway systems consisting of 13 class, 10 and 19 class railways plus 32 state-owned lines was a mammoth task undertaken by the government of India after 1948. By 1944, the government had acquired control of all the railways except a very few privately owned light railways. the final plan of reorganization was approved by the Central Advisory Council for Railways in the month of December 1950. In 1951 to 52, 6 zones were formed initially, namely Northern Railway, Southern Railway, Eastern Railway, Western Railway, Central Railway and North Eastern Railway. The three upper divisions of East Indian Railway were added to Eastern Punjab Railway, Jodhpur Railway and Bikaner Railways to form the Northern Railway. Eastern Railway comprised the remaining lower divisions of Howrah, Asansol and Dinapur and also had Shialda division added to it, which had been formed from the truncated part of Bengal and Assam Railway, B and A Railway. The Bengal Nagpur Railway was also added to East Indian Railway. The amalgamation led to the creation of Eastern Railway on the 14th of April 1952. Thus was reached a very important landmark in the history of the Indian Railways. The culmination of a long process spread over several decades. So, the Bengal-Nagpur Railway portion was separated in the year 1955 to form the South Eastern Railway. Shialda division was added to East Indian Railway in the year 1947. In the year 1952, the upper divisions became part of Northern Railway, leaving the 3 lower divisions and Shialda divisions in Eastern Railway. Dhanbad division was formed in the year 1964. Mughal Sarai division in the year 1975 and Malna division in the year 1984 as part of Eastern Railway Zone. A new line formed Garwa Road to Chopan and Chunar with a branch to Singrauli was constructed by Northern Railway and handed over to Eastern Railway. These sections became part of Dhanbad division. In the early 1990s, following large-scale conversion of meter gauge lines into broad gauge, considerable rewiring of traffic patterns into the place, which an expert committee suggested that 4 new zones should be created, namely Northwestern with headquarters at Jaipur, North Central with the headquarters at Jabalpur, East Central with headquarters at Allahabad, and South Western with the headquarters at Bangalore. In 1996, jurisdictions of the proposed zones were changed in some cases, and the headquarters of East Central Railway was changed from Allahabad to Hajipur in Bihar. It was also planned to form at East Coast Zone with headquarters at Bhubaneswar. Moreover, on public demand, a new zone, South East Central Railway, was formed with headquarters at Bilaspur, and the headquarters of South Western Railway was shifted from Bangalore to Hubli. East Central Zone, with headquarters at Hajipur, started functioning from 1st October 2002. This was to consist of Samastipur and Sonpur divisions of northeastern, along with Danapur, Mughal and Dhanbad divisions of eastern. The northwestern zone, with its headquarters at Jaipur, also started functioning from the same date. 5 other zones, East Central Railway, North Central Railway, West Central Railway, Southeast Central and Southwestern Railway, had started functioning from 1st of April 2003. Eastern Railway today consists of Shialdah Division, Howrah Division, Asansol divisions and Malda divisions. So I would like to wave after my narration. So like yesterday, so I love to share about Indian Railways history, as I rendered longest period in the Indian Railways in the various divisions and places. Thank you so much. Be present with me. This is a very interesting subject. Exclusively, I love to share about my personal subject, my personal passion and hobby, that is Indian classical music and film music, and few aspects related to literature in Bengali, Hindi and Urdu too. So this is also my lovable subject, as I was a disciplined and sincere soldier of Indian Railways. Thank you very much. So Indian Railways quickly revised its plans and switched over to 25 kV AC traction for its remaining works on Eastern and Southeastern Railway. Moreover, in sections on which electrification work was in progress, installations were redesigned to be suitable for 25 kV AC. So these are the engineering aspects. So I would like to share about black diamond forever. What is the coal has always been the real diamond for Eastern Railway. The story of coal is perhaps most interesting. The first published reference to the mining of coal dates back to the year 1774, when shallow mines are reported to have been developed in the Raniganj field, which I narrated yesterday. During the year 1855 to 56, after the East Indian Railway had extended the line up to Raniganj, 1 lakh tons of coal were transported from Raniganj to Calcutta. By 1860, however, 50 collieries were functioning, producing about 282,000 tons of coal annually, in the Raniganj area. In order to meet foreign competition, to increase the consumptions of Indian coal by other railways and by various mills and factories, the East Indian Railway reduced the rate for leads over 300 miles from 5.4 to 4.5 pies per ton mile as the production of coal increased, with simultaneous increase in the demand for Indian coal and gradual extinction of foreign imports. Haulage rates continued to be progressively reduced by the railways. Eastern Railway has been one of the major railways before creation of East Central Railway, its headquarters in Hajipur, Bihar. This railway used to load about 80 million tons of freight every year, which was about 19% of the total loading of Indian railways earlier. Apart from coal and coke, the railway also transports iron and steel from Durgapur and Burnpur, bauxite and stone from Pakur, Rajgram and Jamalpur, cement from Durgapur, and host of other merchants including jute, tea, textile, automobiles, etc. So as the volume of passenger, now I would like to share about the passengers ratio that period. As the volume of passenger traffic increased in the route connecting the erstwhile and present capitals of the nation, trial runs for a high-speed train in the popular Howrah-New Delhi route began in the year 1967. The route via Grand Court, that is from via Gaya Dhanbad, Gaya Mughal line, which was already in use for some of the fastest trains on the Eastern Railway, was chosen for the new train. It was to be called the Rajdhani Express. The Howrah Kalka Mail was the fastest train at the time and had a maximum permission speed of 100 km per hour. When we were studying in the college, even prior to college, that was in the school, and Kalka Mail train was the fastest train in Indian Railways. It was planned that the fastest train in the country, fully air-conditioned with meals being served to the passengers, was to run up to a maximum permissible speed of 120 km per hour, but nowadays it was running 130 to 140 km per hour. So dear friends, so this was the little bit history of Indian Railways. So extensive work had to be undertaken all along the route to make the track suitable and safe for running a high-speed train. In the absence of telephone communications and or warning bells at most of the level crossings and route, extensive drivers were launched to educate and train the level crossing gatesman to ensure safety of road traffic. Rajdhani Express had its maiden run from Howrah on 3rd March 1969 as a bi-weekly train between Howrah and New Delhi. Eastern Railway thus had the distinction of running the most prestigious train of the country for the first time. Presently, this train runs on all 7 days a week, 6 days via Dhanbad and 1 day via Patna. The Shalda New Delhi Rajdhani Express was introduced from 1st July 2000 as a bi-weekly, and its frequency was increased to 4 days a week from 1st July 2001. The concept of, now I would like to share about Shatabdi Express. The concept of Shatabdi Express came in the 1990s, which spoke of a high-speed, fully air-conditioned intercity train with chair car accommodation and an end-to-end journey time varying between 5 to 6 hours. Eastern Railway started its first Shatabdi train on 1st July 1995 between Howrah and Bokaro Steel City. Another Shatabdi Express to Patna was introduced from 12th November 2001. A medium distance intercity train running from as a state capital to a major town was a concept which came in year 2002. The coaches of the Jan Shatabdis have been specially designed, and the purpose is to give the common man a super-fast service at an affordable fare structure. The Howrah Malda Jan Shatabdi Express was introduced on 29th June 2002. So these were the data which I collected during my service career in the Indian Railways. The typical suburban traveler journeys in the morning from his place of residence in the suburbs to the main city and goes back to the suburbs in the evening. Over the years, the volume of this traffic has been increasing at a rapid rate, and Eastern Railway has taken up the challenge, expanding the suburban arms, electrifying routes, and introducing new trains according to passenger requirements. Running of suburban trains by East Indian Railway and BA Bengal Assam Railways was an old concept and introduced to serve the Kolkata Metro even before 1900. They were initially run by conventional coaches hauled by steam locomotives. Howrah and Shialda divisions carry the bulk of suburban traffic on Eastern Railway. A part of the Kolkata suburban system in Howrah division was electrified in the year 1957. And soon the electrical multiple unit EMU unit trains were introduced, which had high acceleration capacity, enabling high speeds to be maintained even when interstation distances were short. A 9-coach EMU train, electric multiple unit train, can carry up to 3,000 passengers under dense crush load conditions. Shialda to Krishnanagar and Shantipur via Noihati and Ranaghat were electrified in October 1963. Damdam to Bongaon in January 1964 and Shialda South section in January 1966. Howrah Bardhaman Main Line and Shaurafoli Tarokeshwar branch was electrified by December 1965. Today, Eastern Railway runs a total number of more than 1,000 suburban trains and near about 700 in Shialda divisions and 319 in Howrah divisions for the benefit of passengers. But it is now more than 319. Earlier, the figure was 319. With the increase in suburban traffic, A 12-coach electric multiple unit EMU was the first introduced on Shialda Ranaghat section from 16th of December 2002. In Howrah division, a 12-coach electric multiple unit train had started running in the Howrah-Bardhaman route from 1st July 2003. It was inevitable that stripes, wars, and conflicts affecting the life of the country should have their impact on the working of East Indian Railway. In fact, meeting the transportation needs of the government in times of strife and war with the neighboring countries formed one of the important justifications for laying the line in the first place. Although only a flooding when the mutiny broke out in 1857, East Indian Railway was badly affected by attacks by the mutineers and even played a small role in transporting British troops to quell the uprising. The Great War of 1914 to 1918 brought greater challenges, the threats of war being far away. There was no direct impact on train running. The main effect was depletion of staff and by the call to arms reduced availability of imports on which the Indian Railways depended for its maintenance and replacements and diversions of resources to the manufacturers India became the supply base of Iraq, East Africa, Egypt, and Palestine. 54,000 at that time. Shrapnel and high explosive shells were turned out from Jamalpur and Lilua. Jamalpur and Lilua both are the workshops under the administration of Eastern Railway. Jamalpur workshops also manufactured that time 12 million dog spikes and 1 million fish bowls as well as other track materials for export to these countries for use in the military railway there. The two workshops also jointly manufactured a complete armed train and 118 kerosene oil tank wagons. Lilua also converted 50 wagons for use in Mesopotamian railways in the short span of 11 days. The fall of Burma in the Second World War brought the war uncomfortably close. East Indian Railway faced great difficulties to bear the increased strain on its capacity resulting from the war. The government nationalized privately managed railways and also imposed strict controls on the transport of essential commodities. Rationalizations and strict control on supply of wagons were introduced for coal, the most vital product for war as well as peace. Beginning with the Transport Advisory Officer, Railway Board 1939-40 evolved a full-fledged coal commissioners organizations divided into production and distribution divisions. After independence, Eastern Railway continued to play a leading role in transporting troops and military equipment in the wars with China and Pakistan. The last war with Pakistan placed a much larger burden on Eastern Railway as the main base of operations was in West Bengal. Apart from moving large quantities of military equipment and troops to the borders at the end of the war. Nearly 1 lakh Pakistani prisoners of war had to be evacuated under high security to different places in India. So this was the time in which I narrated about Indian Railways brief history. So I would like to mention here this regarding schools. East Indian Railways provided subsidized schools at each of the large stations in the plains for the children of both domiciled European and native staff when the railway was still owned by the company. NW Railway had a school at Fairlawn near Jhari Pani, that is called Ogrove, a well-wooded and secluded site close by the aqueduct for the school. Ogrove School opened on 1st June 1888 with 210 pupils. In April 1897, a separate school for girls was set up in the adjoining Jharipani state in Mussoorie with an accommodation for 140 scholars. Subsequently, Northwestern Railway closed its school and entered into an arrangement with East Indian Railway for admitting the children of its employees also in the East Indian Railways school. In addition, Inter-College at Moghulsarai in the year 1876, High School at Danapur in the year 1890, Higher Secondary School at Jamalpur, Sahibganj and Asansol in the year 1868. 1878 and 1898 respectively, and middle schools at Sahibganj and Jamalpur were also opened. Mention may be made that Lal Bahadur Shastri Ji, who went on to become not only the Minister of Railways and Transport, but also the Prime Minister of the country, studied in a railway school at Moghulsarai from 1911 to 1915. East Indian Railway was one of the pioneer railways to establish railway institutes and clubs at various places soon after a viable rail network had taken shape. This were to begin with primarily for the benefit of Anglo-Indian and Eurasian staff, but after independence were thrown open to all railway employees. The ambience of Jamalpur Railway Institute, which was established in the year 1878, had been best described by Rudyard Kipling in the following words. Rudyard Kipling, he mentioned, best and prettiest of the many good and pretty things in Jamalpur is the institute on a Saturday when the volunteer band is playing and the tennis courts are full and the baby dome of Jamalpur fat sturdy children frolic around the bandstand. Decidedly, the railway folk make their life pleasant. Now I would like to mention about the institutes. Vivekananda Institutes, formerly the Durand Institute, named after Sir Mortimer Durand. This is the oldest railway institute in India, established in the 1878. It has a front tower with arcade opening and sign domes. When I was working in the Indian Railways, I personally visited more than several times, and I also demonstrated my musical program there when I was initial in the railways administration. So Dr. B.C. Rai Institute at Shalda, earlier known as the Clem Brown Institute, with double-storied beautiful structure constructed in the year 1920. And the Shalda, now it is now Clem Brown. Earlier it was Clem Brown Institute. Now it is called Dr. Bidhan Chandra Roy Institute, Dr. B.C. Roy Institute. There were several other well-known institutes spread over the East Indian Railways. As because Indian Railway is such an organization, Indian Railway consists many sports personnel, many top legendary musicians, and this is the only organization which recruits sportsmen as well as the musicians. So there were several other well-known institutes spread over the East Indian Railway. The significant among them were Kaji Nazrul Islam Institute, formerly Hindsmar Institute, named after T. Hindsmar, formerly European Institute, and Gitanjali Institute, formerly Indian Institute at Lilua, Golmohar Institute at Howrah, Subhash Institute at Asansol, and N.C. Ghosh Institute at Danapur, and the Ghosh Institute at Fairley Place, presently housing the library, was founded in the year 1939 and was originally called the East Indian Railway Head Office Institute. It was renamed as Ghosh Institute in the year 1946 after the former General Manager Mr. N.C. Ghosh. The Purv Railway Sanskritik Parisad, Eastern Railway Cultural Association, was inaugurated on 21st July 1958 at the Netaji Subhash Institute, Shalda. This not only helped in fostering of cultural activities on the railways, but also brought forward and developed the dormant talents among the rank and file of the railwaymen and their wards. The Eastern Railway Zonal Training Center, JTC, which is called as JTC at Bhuli, Dhanbad, started functioning in the year 1965 by amalgamating the Traffic Training School of Shalda and Technical Training School of Madhupur. The object of JTC is to conduct various training courses for different categories of Group C staff of various departments responsible for maintenance and safe operation of the railway system is a centralized manner. So dear friends, now it is almost 10 o'clock in the night. Now I would like to wave before I end on its narration. This is also my lovable subject, as I rendered longest period in the Indian Railways. Thank you, Mr. Dhananjoy Shaha. I wave with you. Madam Ashima Chattopadhyay. Thank you, Madam Ashima Chattopadhyay. Jayasri Ghosh. Thank you, Madam Jayasri Ghosh. Mr. Sanjay Mehrotra. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay ji. Tapos Rokhit Dada. Thank you, Mr. Tapos Dada. Shunil Banerjee, he is my Guru Bhai and he is my elder brother too. Now he is in Pune. He is a fantastic tabla player. I would love to share and my wishes and gratitude, and I wave with respected dear friend Shunil Dada. Mr. Biplab Banerjee, I will. Thank you so much. Very good night, very good night, very good night. Do take care of yourself. So again, I will be meeting tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much.